Hello, my name is Camille Roby, and I'm a current student at FSCJ in their Bachelor's of Nursing program with Dr. Alma Dixon in her class, Nursing Theory. Today, I'm going to be discussing with you all my particular art presentation in terms of just how I view nursing. So my presentation PowerPoint is entitled Camille Roby's Musical and Artistical World of Nursing. Let's begin. So we're just going to talk briefly about the philosophy of nursing and just how I see nursing. Um, when we travel as nurses collectively through this intricately woven network, if you will, that we affectionately call nursing, I personally come to discover within my own journey as a nurse, and have created the vision within my mind that nursing can be likened to none other than a musical orchestra or a band. And you may be wondering, well, how so? Well, when we think of nursing, nursing can be equivalent to that of a musical orchestra. When we think of what makes up a orchestra, well, you have a leader or a conductor. You have the orchestra band themselves with their various instruments that is being played. And then we have the audience and the environment in which they are sitting in, which is that auditorium. So when we think of the conductor, well, who's the conductor in the world of nursing? Well, this would be your physician or your medical doctors. They lay the groundwork out in the direction in which a particular patient's plan of care should go. And then next we discover the orchestra. Well, who makes up this band? Well, this is your nurses, this is your therapists, physical therapists, respiratory therapists, occupational therapists, your speech pathologists, your dietary specialists, your case managers. Everyone has a specific role, just like each instrument that's included in the band. Each one has their own sound, but collectively they are one sound, one united sound. Same concept within the hospital setting or any other healthcare professional setting where various medical professionals work side by side in helping patients. And so things that we do within the healthcare setting when we are encountering our patients, we are providing them with compassion, affection, love. We're showing true concern and kindness for them, understanding. We're advocating for our patients based on whatever their needs may be or their admitting diagnoses or past medical histories. And at the same time, we're allowing for autonomy to occur with our patients. Next, when we look at the audience, well, the audience are your patients, your caregivers, your people who are near and dear to the patients themselves. So this is the direction and vision that I see as a nurse. All right, so just following a little further. One of my very favorite nurses and the very first nurse is Florence Nightingale. Her particular theory, the environmental theory, I was truly inspired by. She said it first and she said it best. Nursing is an art, and if it is to be made an art, it requires exclusive devotion, as hard a preparation as any painter or sculptor's work. So when we think of famous painters or sculptors such as Monet or Picasso, think of the time and effort that they took in their lives in dedicating to their work. So it's the same concept with nursing. Everyone must put forth their best effort in providing the best evidence-based practice care for our patients. That is truly the only way that nursing as its own discipline can be fulfilled. So next, I wanted to speak about another very special nurse that I hold dear to myself, because I can really see her vision, because that is the nurse that I have become within my career. And this is Jean Watson. Jean Watson, her particular theory, philosophy and science of caring theory. Well, from her standpoint, she really put forth the thought of caring in the forefront when we take care of our patients, and when we do the things that we do with them. According to her theory, the goal of nursing is to help persons attain a higher level of harmony within the mind, body, and spirit collectively. And such attainment of this goal can potentiate healing and health. She even went as further as to develop her renowned 10 curative factors known as the clinical Caritas processes, which essentially means to cherish our patients, to appreciate them genuinely, to give them that special attention that they need during this very critical time in their lives, and ultimately to convey love. This was her forefront goal throughout her entire career, and I am truly appreciative of her. All right, so following a little further, the next slide that we're going to talk about is the 4 meta paradigms that's applied in nursing practice. Now, before we can fully grasp that concept, we must know what the meta paradigms term means. So basically, it is the most global perspective of a discipline and acts as an encapsulating unit or framework within which the more restricted structures develop. So those 4 meta paradigms that drives the world of nursing, if you will, is person or the human, health or healing, nursing, and environment. Now, when we think of the person, well, who is the person that we're thinking about? Well, it's the patient. It's that recipient of the nursing care. And they're doing so in unity of mind, body, and spirit and nature. When we think of health, we should think of healing. Nightingale said it best: health is not only to be well, but to be able to use well every power we have to use. Jean Watson, she spoke of health being 3 simple things: harmony, wholeness, and comfort. These things must be included in their care in order for a patient to truly heal. When we think of nursing, well, it's that individual, us as nurses. We're taking the lead in either altering or managing the environment to implement the natural laws of health, as Nightingale brought out. And lastly, the last meta paradigm, environment. Well, when we think of, well, what environment is this? When we go back to the orchestra and the audience, well, the audience is sitting in the orchestra hall or musical hall, if you will. Well, that could be the hospital. That could be a nursing home. That could be a rehab or naval hospital, things as such. And so wherever this environment may be, the main thing that we want to remember, per Nightingale, is that this is the external part and the internal part. So external means the temperature, the bedding, the ventilation. Is it all right to bring comfort to this patient? And when we think of internally, well, nutrition, food, water, sustenance, medications to help better manage their health. So in continuing further, I'm very visual when I like to think of a concept. So what this particular slide kind of helps us to reiterate those 4 meta paradigms from a visual standpoint. Again, the person is the recipient of the care. The health is defined by that person. The environment, it includes both those internal and external factors. And as well as with nursing, well, that's the nursing actions that we do. We provide alternative measures. We administer medications. We educate our patients. We encourage uh, the stopping of certain unclean habits, such as smoking. We encourage them because, smoking can lead to many cardiac issues or respiratory issues. So that's what those nursing actions, as an example, would be. So next, we think of nursing as from a musical orchestra expression. So from the outset, the conductor is the one leading the band in the way that they should go. So this would be your doctors or your physicians. Your orchestra band is your nurses, your therapists, your case managers, your language interpreters, your dietary specialists, and things as such. Your audience, as we mentioned, again, is your patients, your family members, your caregivers, your legal guardians. And next then would be the orchestra or the symphony hall. Well, we can name this to be the hospital in which the patient is receiving. This is their environment. And those are just some visual aspects of it all. So next, this is just some more, from a visual standpoint, the conductor, the orchestra band, and as well as the audience. And we can see how they all tie in together to create that one united musical piece. So when we think of nursing, again, from a visual artwork expression standpoint, I really drew great strength and inspiration from Nurse Tilda Shaloff's mosaic mural, in which she collected many of the tops from various medications that she administered to her patients throughout her 28-year-long career as an ICU nurse, in taking care of her critically ill patients. This is the mural that she created from the pieces throughout the years, and this is how she visually envisioned nursing. So I really appreciated this. And this is just some more of some visual artwork expressions. We can see how the flow of the music notes go so elegantly. It's all one piece. The same thing when we're in the hospital setting and we're all dealing with that plan of care of that patient. When we communicate effectively, when we communicate with not only just the doctors, but the patients, the family members, the therapists, and the case management, when everyone is on the same page in regards to that one patient, it flows so beautifully in providing that care to that patient. And again, I felt the need to add a particular example of that musical expression, in which the YouTube Symphony, as we can see here, so elegantly arranged. We have the conductor in the very beginning in the forefront with the orchestra behind him waiting for his direction in which they should play their instruments while the audience listens. So, in moving right along, this concludes my presentation, of which this is how I visually and from a musical standpoint see nursing. And it has helped me thus far because I take the time to truly show that care, show that concern and understanding for my patient, but at the same time advocating for them. So thank you very much.